Hello and welcome to this Tuesday edition of the World Report. I'm Arjun Mahendran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. A report released Tuesday by U.S. Special Counsel Jack Smith accuses Donald Trump of orchestrating an unprecedented criminal effort to remain in power after his 2020 election defeat. Smith's investigation led to a 4-count indictment alleging Trump obstructed the collection and certification of votes. Smith stated that the evidence gathered was sufficient to quote-unquote convict Trump at trial. However, the president-elect's November election victory made it impossible to proceed before his return to presidency. In response, Trump called Smith a lame-brained prosecutor on his Truth Social platform. Smith defended his investigation, calling claims of political bias laughable. The second section of the report, detailing allegations of Trump illegally retaining sensitive national security documents, remains sealed as legal proceedings against 2 associates continue. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's Republican allies in the U.S. House of Representatives are rallying support for a bill to authorize talks on purchasing Greenland. The proposed legislation, titled Make Greenland Great Again Act, is being spearheaded by Republican lawmakers Andy Ogles and Diana Harshberger. According to reports, the draft of the bill, which surfaced on Monday, has already garnered support from 10 co-sponsors. In fact, the initiative revives Trump's earlier interests in acquiring Greenland, which had sparked widespread international debate during his presidency. In West Asia, Israel and Hamas have inched closer to a hostage and ceasefire deal Monday. Mediators are reportedly awaiting a response from both sides to the final draft of an agreement that would see Hamas release 33 hostages after talks in Qatar resulted in what an Israeli official described as a breakthrough. The momentum marks the first sign of serious optimism in months as Donald Trump's inauguration next week upped the pressure for a deal. Trump's West Asia envoy participated in negotiations alongside Joe Biden's team, conveying a consensus between both the administrations. Still, challenges remain. Israel's far-right finance minister said he would not back any truce to stop the war in what some have called a last-minute wrecking ball for negotiations. Listen into what the Israeli foreign minister, in fact, had to say.
Progress was made. We see some progress in the negotiations. Israel wants a hostage deal. Israel is working with our American friends in order to achieve a hostage deal. And soon we will know whether the other side wants the same thing.
The trial of impeached South Korean President Yoon is set to begin Tuesday, focusing on his controversial attempt to impose martial law, which plunged the nation into worst political crisis in decades. The Constitutional Court's first session may be brief, as Yoon is not expected to appear, remaining in his hillside villa in Seoul. The next session is scheduled for Thursday. The court has 180 days to decide whether to permanently remove Yoon from the office or restore his presidential powers. Meanwhile, the embattled president faces a separate criminal investigation for alleged insurrection, with authorities seeking to arrest him after he failed to comply with a summons for questioning. According to a Bloomberg report, members of President-elect Donald Trump's incoming economic team are discussing slowly ramping up tariffs month by month. Now, a gradual approach aimed at boosting negotiating leverage while helping avoid a spike in inflation. One idea involves a schedule of gradual tariffs increasing by about 2% to 5% a month and would rely on executive authorities under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The proposal, in fact, is in its early stages and has not yet been presented to Trump, a sign that a monthly stepped approach is early in the deliberation process. Jagmeet Singh, leader of the New Democratic Party and once an ally of former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, has warned U.S. President Donald Trump sternly over his plans to annex Canada. In a video posted on the social media platform X, Singh said, "Canada is not for sale, not now, not ever." He vowed retaliation if the U.S. imposes tariffs on Canada, Trump has been vocal about his plans to take charge of Canada and make it the 51st US state. Listen in to what Jagmeet Singh had to say.
I have a message for Donald Trump. Our country's not for sale. Not now, not ever. I lived across this country, and I can tell you, Canadians are a proud people. We're proud of our country, and we're ready to fight like hell to defend it. Right now, with the forest fires ravaging homes, Canadian firefighters showed up. That's who we are. We show up and support our neighbors. But if Donald Trump if you think you can pick a fight with us, there'll be a price to pay. I've committed that if Donald Trump imposes tariffs on us, we should respond with retaliatory tariffs in kind. I think that anyone running as Prime Minister should do the same.
Since Trudeau's resignation on Monday, Tesla CEO Elon Musk has posted repeatedly about Canadian politics on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, since till the time he bought it in 2022 for $44 billion. It has also given Musk an opportunity to inject himself into yet another country's political turmoil. Musk has praised clips of Pierre Poilievre, the leader of Canada's Conservative Party, while relishing in Trudeau's downfall and engaging with right-wing Canadian influencers as well. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has summoned Nawaf Salam. Now he's the head of the International Court of Justice to designate him as the country's next prime minister. Salam secured the support of 84 out of 128 lawmakers, marking a significant political shift. This development is seen as a major blow to the Hezbollah, which has accused its opponents of attempting to sideline the group. Salam's nomination reflects changing dynamics among Lebanon's sectarian factions, following Hezbollah's setbacks in its war with Israel last year and the subsequent fall of its ally, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The presidency confirmed that Salam, who is currently abroad, will return on Tuesday to take on the task of forming a government. Millions of Hindu devotees, mystics and holy men and women from all across India have flocked to the northern city of Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh for the Maha Kumbh festival. It is indeed the world's largest religious gathering. Over about the next 6 weeks, Hindu pilgrims will gather at the confluence of three sacred rivers, the Ganges, the Yamuna and the Saraswati, where they will take part in elaborate rituals, hoping to begin a journey to achieve Hindu philosophy's ultimate goal, the release from the cycle of rebirth. At least 400 million people, more than the population of the US, are expected in Prayagraj over the next 45 days. Aircraft battling fires raging through the Los Angeles area are dropping more than water. Hundreds of thousands of gallons of hot pink flame retardants are being released from the skies and dropped ahead of flames in a desperate effort to stop them before they destroy more neighborhoods. Fire agencies say the suppressants are an invaluable tool as flames race through canyons and other rugged areas that are difficult for firefighters on the ground to reach. The hot pink mixture is generally considered safe for people, but many worry about their potential effects on wildfire. The police chief has said that many of those reporting missing during the devastating wildfires in LA have been found safe. Take a listen.
On the missing persons front, certainly a concern for everyone. At this time, we have 26 people reported missing. 17 of those have been found safe. Of the 9 remaining, 2 have most likely been found deceased, but we have yet to be able to positively identify those individuals. 1 has likely been found safe at a shelter, but refused contact with the police, and 6 remain unaccounted for.
As the destructive wildfires in LA rage on, the fire chief has said they are not in the clear as firefighters brace for explosive fire growth. Authorities claim firefighters are in a critical stage of their almost week-long battle against deadly LA blazes. Crews report progress, but the National Weather Service warns extremely critical conditions could spread the fires as dangerous winds return this week. At least 24 people have died and dozens are still missing. California Governor Gavin Newsom has said that there are likely to be a lot more deaths. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden has called on the Congress to approve further funding to help rebuild areas devastated by fires once the blazes had been dealt with. Take a listen.
And, although the federal government is going to cover 100% of the cost for the next 180 days for things like firefighter overtime pay, debris removal, temporary shelters, it's going to cost tens of billions of dollars to get Los Angeles back to where it was. So we're going to need Congress to step up to provide funding to get this done. And we're going to get that done, God willing.
The forest fire that had begun almost 3 weeks ago in the Nahul Huapi National Park, one of the most beautiful reserves in the Argentine Patagonia, is now advancing and has already consumed more than 3,000 hectares. Officials said strong wind caused the rekindling of the fire on Monday, which generated large columns of smoke. The 70-kilometer gust prevented brigade members from entering the fire area. Nelson Lear, deputy head of the Forest Fire Prevention and Fighting Service in Barlock, said that the flames consumed dense vegetation in areas that were very difficult to access. It's time we step into a short break now. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching the World Report on NDTV. The US dollar is holding near a 2-year high as traders reduce expectations for Federal Reserve rate cuts in 2025. With President-elect Donald Trump preparing to reintroduce tariffs, concerns over global trade and inflation are putting pressure on other major currencies like the euro, yen, and pound. Oil prices remain closer to 4-month highs as fresh U.S. sanctions on Russian oil dominate market sentiment. Brent crude settled at $80.73 a barrel, while the WTI traded at $78.64 a barrel, following sanctions targeting Russia's shadow fleet of oil tankers. Hyundai, Stellantis, and Delta Airlines have announced 1 million donations each to President-elect Donald Trump's inaugural fund. Other corporate giants, including Boeing, Ford, and Amazon, are also contributing to the January 20th event. Now, Hyundai emphasized its commitment to working with the incoming administration on policies supporting American manufacturing and innovation. Global electric vehicle sales hit a record high in 2024, growing by 25% to over 17 million units only in 1 year, due to robust demand in China and Europe. Britain overtook Germany as Europe's largest EV market, in fact, driven by incentives and emissions targets. Experts anticipate 2025 to be a transformative year for the industry amid evolving policies under the Trump administration. Robinhood Markets has agreed to pay $45 million to settle U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission charges over record-keeping and trade reporting violations. The Securities and Exchange Commission highlighted multiple compliance failures, including inaccurate reporting of trading activity and delayed suspicious activity filings. The Biden administration's new rules to curtail other nations' access to advanced artificial intelligence chips have sparked frustration within the industry. The controls announced Monday, putting limits on AI semiconductor exports to 120 countries, including some of Washington's close trading partners. They're aimed at stopping China, which already faces restrictions on AI chip purchases, from obtaining the tech from other nations now. The US chip giant NVIDIA, whose stock fell on the news of the curbs, said the regulation is merely cloaked in a guise of an anti-China measure and wouldn't enhance US security, while the Biden administration is attempting to set up a global framework that will guide how artificial intelligence spreads around the world in the years to come. Ultimately, it will be up to the Trump administration, however, to decide whether to keep the new rules or how to enforce them. TikTok has dismissed the report suggesting China might allow the potential sale of the social media company's US operations to billionaire Elon Musk and has in fact called it pure fiction. The ByteDance-owned company's comments came in response to a report claiming Chinese officials are in fact exploring options to sell US TikTok operations to Musk, as the video-sharing platform faces an American law requiring imminent Chinese disinvestment. Last year, the Joe Biden administration passed a law that requires TikTok's parent company ByteDance to either sell the wildly popular platform or shut it down. It goes into effect Sunday, one day before President-elect Donald Trump takes office. Democratic lawmakers are urging President Biden to extend the January 19th deadline for TikTok's parent company ByteDance to sell its U.S. assets or face a ban. ByteDance has argued that meeting the deadline is impossible and has also warned that a ban could shut down the platform used by 170 million Americans. Apple is fighting a $1.8 billion lawsuit in the UK over alleged unfair App Store commissions. The case, brought on behalf of 20 million iOS users, claims Apple's 30% fee has led to overcharging. Now, the company denies the allegations. It argues that its App Store prioritizes consumer security and privacy in fact. The European Commission is reassessing its investigations into tech giants Apple, Google, and Meta under the Digital Markets Act. According to reports, the review could scale back the scope of these probes as the companies push for intervention from President-elect Donald Trump, citing concerns over excessive EU enforcement. All decisions and potential fines will be paused while the review is completed. However, technical work will go on the cases and it will continue. European regulators are now waiting for political direction to take final decisions on the Google, Apple, and Meta cases. The 67th Annual Grammy Awards will still air on the 2nd of February despite the ongoing California wildfires. The Recording Academy announced Monday the show will go on, but now with an effort to raise money for the wildfire relief. The show, whose host has yet to be announced, will air live at 8 p.m. ET from the Crypto.com arena in Los Angeles. With fires still active in the LA area, the Film Academy has also extended nominations voting period for its members through Friday. And the Oscar nominations are being pushed back almost a week from their original date amid the ongoing California wildfires, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences said Monday. Nominations will now be announced on the 23rd of January. With fires still active in the LA area, the Film Academy also extended the nominations voting period for its members through Friday. Originally, nominations were announced that morning. The 97th Oscars will still happen on the 2nd of February at the Dolby Theatre. Beyoncé has contributed $2.5 million to a newly launched LA Fire Relief Fund created by her charitable foundation, Bay Good. The announcement arrived via the Bay Good Foundation's Instagram account on Sunday. The fund is earmarked to aid families in the Pasadena area who lost their homes and to churches and community centers to address the immediate needs of those affected by the wildfires. Well, that's all we have for you today. Take care and have a wonderful day.